come back to that inner feeling. One intuition could be also spiritual intuition or just regular intuition, which call them to start this what they are working. And the problem is when we forget that, and when we focus, when that's one of the wounds from childhood, when we abandon ourselves, and when we try to meet expectations of the others, of our clients, of our society, of market, and it's really subtle thing and the mistake that we make, that constantly forget to come back to ourselves.
Hi, welcome to the podcast. I'm Sheila Battello, and today I have the joy of welcoming a special guest to the show. Danilo Mihajlovic is a psychotherapist and doctor of theology who brings together the wisdom of the Orthodox faith with the precision of contemporary psychotherapy. He's the founder of the Support Yourself platform, where he's guided more than 1,000 people on their journey toward inner healing and discovering their God-given authenticity and purpose. In this conversation, we're exploring what it truly takes to build and scale meaningful work without losing yourself in the process, the patterns that can lead to burnout, the practices that restore energy, and how embracing technology can actually deepen human connection when it's done with intention. Danilo, I am so grateful you're here. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Sheila, and I'm so happy to be with you because it's beautiful to be in this moment and to share this energy that you have all the time.
Oh, thank you. One thing I didn't mention in my introduction is that we worked together previously. Danilo was a client of mine, and it's been really, really beautiful seeing you move your business forward, your practice into really a global business where you're now branching out from your roots in Eastern Europe to the greater English-speaking market. And so let's start at the beginning. You bring together Orthodox faith and psychotherapy in such a powerful way. In fact, I'd never heard of anyone doing that. And before we get into your business, what originally called you into this work of integrating spiritual depth with modern psychology?
Well, I think that, all of us who are in psychotherapy and psychology and coaching, that's always, personal story. It cannot be different way. And this also is a personal story because I had really traumatic origin family, and the biggest strength in my family was the faith. Somehow, intuitively, my parents realized that they will have a lot of trouble, to figure out how to deal with each other. And the best part of their personal life was the Orthodox faith. And before they decide to become parents, they went to the church and pray, to the God. They had spiritual father. We have that in our Orthodox church. You have spiritual father, somebody who is as well as the word is saying, father, who is helping you to give a birth to your spirit. And they prayed, to child which they will receive to be, from God to God. So that's somehow, that's actually, it's really good when you know that you came in this world, from this story, even though it was really highly traumatic in childhood. So my first beginning was spiritual. I felt, that prayer and going to the church, but not an informal way, in deep internal feeling, when something, or better to say someone, touch your soul, and then you cannot deny that anymore. And that's not just one moment, that's so many small pieces of the day, during your life. And that's how I start going and living in the church. And then I went to high school for priests, and then I went to the theological faculty. And during that, my graduate studies, I realized I'm really interested in, that correlation between spirituality and our mind, as well as our body. And I realized in this moment that I'm not feel called to be the priest, even though I highly respect that, man of cloth. But I realized I really enjoy in praying and in working with the people, actually helping them to set themselves free. So that's how everything started.
Oh, I love this story. So you've also trained with and met teachers, a few of whom I hold in such high regard in both my parenting and my coaching work, Dr. Gordon Neufeld and Dr. Gabor Mate. What have been some of the most impactful learnings that you've gained from them? And I'm sure there's many, so like maybe just the first few that come off the top of your head. And how have those shaped the way you support your clients and also how you lead yourself as a founder?
Yeah, that's great questions. Well, first, when I finished this regular education for psychotherapy, it was systemic family psychotherapy or systemic therapy. I realized that talk therapy is not enough. You know, it's mainstream and it's classic and it's beautiful, but there was something missing, you know. And then I, working with my clients and with myself, I realized the story of emotions and the inner part, you know, in the body that's missing. That's something that I feel I need to educate myself more. And then I come to the book of When Body Says No from Gabor Mate, and I realized, okay, this guy is authentic and he is exactly what I felt that I need. And then I went to his 1 year training for trauma education to work with the traumas. And that was the moment when everything changed in my understanding of myself, of my origin, of my work with the people. Because Gabor, you know, is a great person, and he helped me. Actually, the best thing that he gave me it was to set me free.
Mm.
Somehow, you know, he helped me to not to try to copy him or anybody, but just to be myself. And it's not just, you know, some advices. It's more like the relationship that he creates with you during that work, and that's something that helped me, you know, to find inner parts. And then I realized that Gordon Neufeld, he was his therapist, you know, the government, and helped him with his challenges with his children and himself. And then I went, you know, to Neufeld Institute and start learning from him. And I realized, oh my God, how, you know, it's possible that this guy is not so famous in all world. He's so great, and he figured out so many things, and he's so modest. So the best part from Gordon Neufeld that I learned that emotions are here with the reasons, and even though we are not logically understand them, we need to listen to them. You know, there is a big, you know, law which is irrational about the emotions, but that doesn't mean that there is no sense. So with the Gordon Neufeld, I learned how to listen emotions and how to even more adjust my therapeutic work, and also my private work. You know, my therapists. They helped me a lot. And then I need to mention also one of the biggest names in psychotherapy today and neuroscience. It's Alan Shore, right brain psychotherapy. Then, you know, it's like the puzzle. You know, when you come to one checkpoint, you realize, okay, I need something more here, and then you come to the another, and then you find out that the picture that you were feeling in yourself, it's all already there. You just need to find some missing parts. So that was the situation with me.
Oh, I love that. It's so interesting. You're so right. It is like you go as far as you can go, and then you realize, ooh, now I see another open gap in my knowledge or experience. And I love that you just followed the trail, but like right at the end, there was always someone waiting there to guide you the rest of the way.
Yes, that's the point. And I realized with Gabor, where is the fear? When I feel some fear to go somewhere, that's the place where I need to go.
Yes, I've
That's
learned that one from Gabor too. Maybe not
yeah,
my favorite one in practice, but once you get through it, once you take that step, it's great.
yeah, yeah. That's great. That's great. That's it's painful, really painful, but great, because then you know open up new levels in you, and then you realized, oh my God, it's so worthwhile of this. Yeah.
Yes. And so now you've supported over 1,000 people through your platform. And what would you say has been the most unexpected challenge that you've faced in growing from like the one-on-one therapy space into leading a larger online movement?
Yeah, there is one book that I recently read. It's called 10 Times It's Bigger Than 2 Times from Daniel. I forgot the last name, but he's famous. But the point was that when I was working with one-on-one, I realized this is great and clients, having great progress, but I felt something is missing out, and then after Gabor, after Basil van der Kolk and other educations, I realized, well, community is missing. We are not born to be, just alone. And every wound that we have, it's originated from the relationship in our families and our groups, and so we are social beings. And then I start doing what I have done, what I felt before. I want to work in the groups. I want to work, to create safe community, safe small community, and to work with them, because everybody of them has the part which is healing other, member of the group, and vice versa. And it was really not easy for me, because that means that I need to leave everything what I developed. Maybe just 5% of my clients accepted to start working in the group. So even though I developed, well-established practice, and I had so many clients on the waiting list, and it was like, no. I feel it's the moment to jump. And it was not easy, but beautiful. It's so good that again our waiting list for the groups, and it's magical what is happening in those groups. But I need to mention that the important factor for the group is that everybody share same values, and in my context it's spiritual values. They are Christians. Most of them are Orthodox, but also Catholics and Protestant, Evangelical, and so on. But the point is, when you share the same values and you have then the same energy, which you can, use during that process to moderate the inner energy. And then it's like, I call that atomic bomb in positive way. You have that chain reaction of good and of the healing process in the group, and you can see how that could be multiplied and motivated for others. So, well, yeah, that's something what I realized it's highly important.
Well, and I love that it is the connection of so many different people, different parts of one particular spiritual faith system. And
Yes.
it sounds like every time I hear you talking about your experience and how things are going with your clients, it sounds like it's the best of the best in terms of the way people are living out their faith, because we know life is tricky, and people coming into therapy are coming from a variety of backgrounds and really challenging experiences.
Yeah.
And the fact that they're met with like a beautiful ecosystem to heal is wonderful, because often so many people, I'm sure you've heard this many times, like any kind of religious construct can feel very divisive, but it sounds like it's the opposite. You're bringing people together, and the healing, it's kind of like Christianity in its ultimate form, like what is really boots to the ground,
Yes.
how it's meant to be. That's how it feels like to me.
Thank you. That's the point, because in church life you see that there is one. It's most of the time there is a theory what we are called to be and who we are called to be, and practice how that's far away from that. And for me was, I felt in my heart and in my church, the beauty of reality when we live like this, how that could be strong, and all the truth of the faith in the Bible, and whatever, especially Apostle Paul when he's talking about that of the community, and Lord Jesus Christ when he's talking in his last supper. English is not the first tongue, so how you call that? Preach, the moment when he's
The sermon.
Yeah, sermon. Yeah, when he's talking that about all to be one, and in that one, everybody are different. So that's beautiful. So I felt that's the moment, and I start working just okay. My idea was I will just be me, and I will just start sharing on the Instagram without intention to bring anybody. That was just beginning. And then people start coming to me with the sentences, "Oh my God, you just, it's like you are in my head and in my soul, and you're talking my words."
Wow.
And I was like, well, I'm just trying to be in mine, but it seems that we have something together. And, then people start coming. And even though it was not easy for majority of them to accept to be the part of the group, and they gave really good offers to work one-on-one, and I told them, no, it's not about the offer, it's about the I know what I can give you if you trust me. And then when they stepped in, they didn't want to go away after a program, so they then all of them asked me to create other program and other program, just to have some continual growth and work. And that's how I felt, this is it.
Yeah. And in doing so, and I mean, obviously moving to this more of a group focus, that's been a key element to you being able to protect your own energy as well, because we know in the helping roles, whether it's therapists, doctors, people who are working with people in any regard, it's so easy to burn out. And
Yeah.
so, you really addressed earlier how you started to recognize patterns, right? And the practical shift it sounds like you made was moving to this group format. And so, like, I'd love for you to share just a soundbite on what you just came back from, and see you did this last year too, and how it's shifted for you to really shore up your energy to serve as your best.
Yes, well, for me was the key moment when I was in the government training. Then I decided to try to find out some of the therapists from his list, because I realized the body is, really important in the work, especially, and also, Stephen Porges polyvagal theory. So all of them, I realized, we are diminishing and we are minimalizing the importance of the body in the process. So I realized I need some therapist from, who is also educated in that. And that's how I find out my new therapist, beautiful person. And I just want to tell you how I came to her. On the webpage of Compassionate Inquiry, that's the government webpage, I just went to watch the faces of the people, of the therapist, and I told, I will just pick up that for which I find out in my heart that is it. And I found Joanne, one beautiful person, therapist, so really experienced therapist. And I, start working with her. And later on, we realized she's also really deeply spiritual person. And we have similar life stories. And I could touch, so many things in me. And that's how I start having, my safe place. She helped me, to create that on therapy with her, and also in supervision with her, but also my therapy, not to burn out, to come back every time to everything what is in me, that I need to stay focused, to, keep safe little Danilo, little boy in me, which is, learned to be parent to old world. But now, it's there is first thing that I learned in that process, when they asked Lord Jesus Christ, what is the two biggest commandments? And when he said, second one, love your neighbors like you love yourself. And for me, it was like, well, I have heard that so many times, and I'm PhD in theology. I'm teaching in university students about, biblical exegesis and so on. But what is going on if I do not know to love myself? How I will love my neighbors and others, and what means to love myself, but not in an egoistic way.
Right.
I think that it's also the big problem today in psychotherapy and psychology, that we not realizing what that means. And then in that process with Joanne, and with working with my spiritual father also, from which is beautiful person, I came to that you first really need to love yourself in one healthy way, and that means to meet your painful moments and to meet dark places in your soul, which is not so beautiful, but also to accept that, to accept and to transform them through the prayer and through the energy of God. And just after that, you can start to really, or during that process, you can start to really love other persons as they are in the moment. and that's just transforming for them, because then they really feel loved and accepted, no matter what is going on in your process. Is there, going in some regression in them, or whatever, because then you just, you see the God in them as well, the picture of the God in them, and you are just, staying focused on that and helping them to come back to themselves. So, but in that process, as you mentioned, sometimes you can really go, to go to burnout or something like that, and it's important just constantly to come back to, keep your inner peace on the daily basis. And for me, prayer is something that is helping me. There is one beautiful tradition in our Eastern Church about one short meditation prayer. It's called the Jesus Prayer, and just one sentence, which is when you are repeating that sentence and concentrating on the words, you start focusing your attention on the upper part of your chest. We call that your heart, not anatomically heart, but the center of your being. And in that prayer, you can so deeply, come to the peace and to connect with the energy of the God and to stay rooted whatever is going around you. And that helping the people, that they start become rooted in themselves. And then we are connected not from the affects, but from the authentic self.
And it is so important because everyone we're faced with on a daily basis, whether the people we live with, the people we work with, just people that are out and about, it can be challenging to really look at everyone through that loving lens. There's, it's really challenging, but it's true. When we actually have self-love, when we can have like the creator spirit coming through us and like allowing us to learn how to love ourselves and love all the parts of ourselves, it does help us to love others more easily. It's not always super simple, that's for sure. But it's
No.
I think if that's our intention though, to even if frankly, what has helped me so much over the years is just to visualize the other person as like a little baby, right? We were all these innocent little children at one point, and then life came along and who knows, things happened. And so we respond. We are often like we're products of our environment. And so how beautiful is it when we actually show love to others, how they can sometimes warm, right? It's like the beauty of just smiling to a stranger, often unexpected, but it's often you'll get met with a smile, right? That's so beautiful. And so now with this work, it's allowed you to spend more time the way you've structured things now with your family. You have 2 children and a lovely wife who's also a doctor. And you're very, very busy. So you've made it a priority to have protected time with your family. What does that look like these days?
Oh, that's beautiful because my wife, she's an anesthesiologist and she's also PhD, and she was working on emergency center. And in one moment, she also came to that she want, to transform her business life because we want to be more family, and also I with this change of my not one-on-one but working with the groups, I also restructured also my time and my work at the university, and we put the biggest emphasis on our family time. And we have 2 beautiful boys, 8 and 6 years old, and we concentrate on that, how to have more time for ourselves. And this, for example, this year we organized to stay 2 months in the Greece on the seaside on the one beautiful island, and to work just some things which must be done, but all the time to be together and to reduce everything what it's not so urgent to be done on the work. And you see then difference, totally difference. You are in the nature, not in the city. You are even though if you are something writing, you are inspired, you just swim in the sea and your mind is deep in you, and there is you're so connected with the nature. And there is also one beautiful monastery where we were going to the mass. We call that liturgy or mass. And it was so deep because my wife and myself, we share, all the values and everything, and also our thoughts, our feelings, and what is going on in us. And you can see then how children are connecting to that energy totally different than when it's hectic, and everyday life. So that was beautiful. And we're trying to have that small islands during the day when we are come back, when school is starting and so on. It's really important to remind yourself every day what is priority for you, and even though if so many people are wanting you to work with them, that's not where is my worth is, so it's important to remind yourself what do you want in this life, and time is going really fast. So we decided we want to spend with our children and that's so sometimes you probably know it's harder to be a good parent, good enough parent, let's say. There is no perfect parents, but good enough parent than to be the best therapist in the world. It's
I imagine so. Yeah. It's like we learn things we never knew we'd have to learn. Parenting
yeah,
is a very, very interesting school to join.
yeah.
Yes.
So I realized it's not just about getting another education or certificate. This something which is even deeper, because it moves you to it wakes up your child in yourself,
Mhm.
and that's a great moment to meet that and to change the pattern.
Oh, yeah. And it's so evident that your work that you're embodying in your own personal life and your family is very much a mirror to what you're doing with your clients. And it's not about the quick fixes, but it really is just about creating those safe spaces for everyone to pause and listen inwardly. And you see the rewards that you're reaping. My goodness, like with your clients, but also with your kids, which
Yeah.
is wonderful to hear about. And as a result of you being able to move to more group, more scalable type of work, you've also, this has been really cool for me to witness, how you've been embracing tech as a way to also preserve your energy and extend your reach. And
Mhm.
so, how has that stretched you? I mean, going from like the work that you have studied for years for, and now, okay, hello, tech. And I just want to say, I'm really celebrating the supportive team you have working
Yeah.
with you on this.
Yeah,
How's that
thank
been?
you. That's a great story about that as well, and I will be short. When I start working in the groups, and the people who went through my groups, they start, being friends, and they're hanging out after the program and during the program. And I realized this is going to be big, and I don't want to have regular marketing agencies, don't want to have regular agencies for anything. I will just employ those who went through my program and who let's say clicked and or picked up that spirit, and they are attuned with this. And then I hired them, and now they are, growing up this tech part and others, because they are really talented for that, and their expertise, in the marketing or in the design and so on. And we have beautiful energy. It's not like work. It's just like when it's something stressed and so on. I just remind them, okay, what we will learn in our program. So we checked in slowly. It will be fine, just let's rooted come back to ourselves, to our authentic self. And when it's sleep over, we will come to solution. And they're joking that they want to print out the t-shirts with "I love my job," and support yourself. And I said, well, yeah, because we are not trying to compete with this crazy market and the expectations that everybody have. Because I
Mhm.
realized why we need to be the copy of the others just because everybody are going in one direction. uh, there is one sentence in my country, and it says, if there is two the same person, one is how you say that in English, when there is there is too much. Yeah, there is too much. If there is two same person, one is too much. So the point is, we're different, and that difference is beautiful. And let's just stay who we are, and people will come. So they helped me a lot about this, and they give me so many free time for my family, because how you are growing, of course, you have more resources that you can invest, and when you can invest in the people who are great in what they do, and also who share your values and the energy, then it's really like one big family, which is growing up. And I just need to say that it's a personal, but I think it's important. You picked up that when you mentioned, when I was a child, my biggest wish was to create a family which will be happy and in which every member will enjoy and grow. And my wife and me, we created that, and we really enjoy in our family. But even more, I created a family of the people who are coming to those groups, and they become, a spiritual family, really a spiritual family. So, yeah, I think that's when you're working on your wounds, your wound can become a great source of beautiful energy, healing for others.
Absolutely. I completely agree. It's really wonderful when you actually see the effects over time and the changes happening in the people's lives, like who they come to you one way and they leave and they're impacting other people's life. It's really a ripple effect that you're
Yeah.
part of creating. And I think about the people coming to you. I'm sure you have like all types of individuals from different backgrounds, different employment, all of that kind of stuff, business owners. If you were to sit in front of an entrepreneur who is running their business during this time in the world where we have so much coming at us, so many new things, the economy shifting, all the things, what would you say to them in terms of like a compassionate word for how they can approach this time while being able to embrace the technology, but not losing themselves in the process?
Yeah, that's really good and hard question. Well, I would call them to come back to their roots in the meaning, to come back to that inner feeling. One intuition could be also spiritual intuition or just regular intuition, which call them to start this what they are working. So, because for sure, they felt some meaning and some call in whatever they are doing. And the problem is when we forget that, and when we focus, when that's one of the wounds from childhood, when we abandon ourselves, and when we try to meet expectations of the others, of our clients, of our society, of market, and it's really subtle thing and the mistake that we make, that constantly forget to come back to ourselves. And the point is, as much as you are going toward others, that's beautiful, but don't leave yourself in that process. You cannot go. There is the beautiful sentence of my therapist: "Don't go without your legs." So don't go without your legs means don't go in your heads just to meet everybody. If you are staying here and in your head just trying to meet everybody, it's not going to be good, because you are deepening the wound, leaving yourself and abandoning some of the parts of yourself, and then for sure you cannot achieve that. So the point would be, just come back to the roots. It's not so hard. Just remind yourself what I felt when I started with this, why I started with, why I struggled so much to achieve this, and where is that part in me. And just on this sentence, I would call them, as Gabor called it, just shortly check in yourself. Which part of your body is resonating with this? And that must not be something big. It could be just some strange energy in the chest, or some, energy in your stomach, belly, on your arms, or maybe some pressure in your eyes as tears, whatever. Just stay with that for a while, and just, be curious about that, not to think about that. Just notice and look what will happen with time staying with this sensation in my body. Because the wisdom of the body, it's something which is underestimated. And as beautifully said that Bessel van der Kolk, Body Keeps the Score, the great book.
Yes.
And just come back to your body. Body will tell you, help you to remind, that inner call. And also maybe you will feel the tiredness, maybe you will feel, some pain, maybe you will feel some peace. Whatever is there, just stay with that, be a while with that, and you will see how spontaneously it will roll up.
So everyone just got an example of often what would happen on our coaching calls together. I would get so much value from you. Just being able to, like, we're diving into things, and I'm always, every single conversation, I learn something new from you. The work you do is so beautiful. And I love how you say in your bio, every person is free, unrepeatable, and worthy of love.
Yes.
And that's how you make us feel. I think probably everyone who meets you,
Yeah.
because there's that, you have that connection, and you can tell it's just coming from within yourself, from your experience and from the way that you've been positively impacted by your faith and your work personally. So thank you for doing what you do. And I look forward to seeing it spread far and wide across the English speaking market.
Yeah, thank you for your energy, and you helped me a lot when we were working together, because it's not even though if you're a therapist, psychotherapist, it's not easy, every time to deal with the amount of the job, or to because it's totally different industry, entrepreneurship and everything there, how to um, to realize what is important, what is not. So you helped me a lot in that part in our sessions to simplify things. For example, just with my it's called Today newsletter, but I have a letter of support. That's how I call that. Just when you help me with some, it sounds like simple advices, but that helped me so much, and people are love that so much. And then I realized, oh my God, Shayla is really right. It's just needs to be simple. It must not be some big. It's sometimes we are in our head having so many I don't know, knowledge or ideas, and
Mhm.
we want to share everything, but it's not something that is needed. So thank you. You really helped me to change my relationship toward my organization of the business, let's say like that.
Oh, I'm happy to hear it. And yes,
Yeah.
it's going from academia, and you're
Yes.
teaching at seminary, you're PhD. It's like, okay, let's just keep it a short, simple
Yeah.
email. But really it is like kind of like these snippets that people will be able to return to in this conversation we've had. Like one snippet is like a beautiful way to add value to your clients in an email or in any form like social media or something. So it's really cool to see you doing that. And I would love for people to follow you. And so please tell them where they can find you to stay on the journey with you.
Yeah, thank you. Well, I'm starting on LinkedIn recently. I started my page because the majority, actually, until now, everything was in my local mother language. It's Serbian language. And on Instagram, I have a lot of followers, but it's in Serbian language. So on LinkedIn, for now in LinkedIn, and I'm now start preparing my own web page, which also will be including, which will include English, and in some moment I hope it will be open up for the groups in English language. People are also asking me to start that, but then I need to create all videos that I created, and that's interesting story. Maybe some other time how they spontaneously came to the life. But for now on the LinkedIn. For now on the LinkedIn.
Wonderful. Well, I will have this linked in the show notes for people to grab that. Or if this is on YouTube, you'll see it in the description below. Danilo, it has been a pleasure and an honor having you here today. Thank you for sharing your story and sharing the wisdom that I think all of us and all the founders and entrepreneurs and people who are building this thing that is this vision in their mind and taking it from their mind out into the global marketplace, that they can have some sense of peace as they move through that process.
I'm happy that you see some contribution that I made to you. So the point is that I just try to share my energy, and I think that's enough. That's enough. If we just sharing our energy, it's healing by itself, because
Mhm.
there is beautiful energy in every person. Just it's needed to find a way to come to that.
Absolutely. And I'm so thankful for everyone listening. Please go on over to the show notes and follow Danilo. And we'd love to hear. You can also find and follow my links in there too. Let us know what were a couple of the bullet points you heard today that really landed with you that maybe you hadn't thought of before. And we'd love to hear how it's going for you as you continue on your journey. Thank you so much for listening, and we will see you on another episode.